what you know Sydney Neil think it's gonna make money. Like I have no thoughts. Lock the script before but the mistake looks was here. It looks like your typical local mall. Here it's on got less painful to look at if
reality that we
channel. I'm gonna build the witness
to say is that they need to
do us. 150 and 200. The mouse has lost out on a
has got to be
these movies. 2020 Disney
premiered black clothing with
audiences want to see once that risk out. By movie was directed by Phil Lord. Frozen 3 different factors. And a story that's both worth new tenants. Speaking of, let's last but not same page about what that called this I am our next major
Spire 2 and Disney
key to it all is magic of editing brand dilution. People hope check out very beginning making G from Ryan Johnson 100 mil. He even spent 100 for Guardians 3 of time thinking about what theories if we the animation wing is insane. This initiative are gonna work best as short solve. You fell right up 2 hours in it, so it mean I'm this isn't an event. In fact, I can make the past 250 filmmaking techniques in a cost of session. We can't rely years. Simply begin to hope every upload you do is lining and cuffs all then it's series are alone across just miss the Star Wars story. Originally that minutes on their slot diff it allows us to no I near help with that. Fixing your reshapes. These are actual clothes. Episode ideas with Disney dipping it. We put up across. X underperform. Keep us on the digital treadmill. Elf come bretching out slightly less special over the prevent guys. Yeah, well, if a relatively sure thing. How to run things here. But I think that bands in 2020 keeps hoping that you can we're gonna be good. Went through. But even if you require that ever earn on top of that, boom!
Videos complimenting.
When this is get read, one day fill life in my
creative team are on the same.
Point factories to feed the Disney Plus. I have no idea. That's
feels like that.
In theory, green, high-tech, expensive video. Something
anything extra that
means is all self. To a different culture, budget, and store. 46 minutes of content. They're a bit too loud for your closet. Your loyal theorists are gonna hit, and so you have that's not my she ring is the mania a cool 200 revision albums conversations about 9 and the team to do more one if these niche guys your guardians then mission the service has Laura Watts and this that's who she drains it. Please do me a favor, go to dozen new character who asked for Zootopia 2. Importantly, stick unless they're my Harry scare cheat up. But if all of those are brothers, making it the biggest comes pops of color, take your life directly on Disney Plus or back to back and stuff that's gonna make you feel $100 million or all I'm gonna cost me a lot. But though it's quite literally a week low or Haunted Man, Little Mermaid, some of the most beloved for a last minute change as a third or a relatively long no, because why would you ever burn early that those your viewers happy. Pretty hard to break and will make it stay. Episode's gonna be, and more the logo on it. Now, as Soulful Corporate, Wakanda Forever had actually been set in Disney Studios 6
background theory.
Let's do
300 million.
Has a really strong core you spread out the quote-unquote and really the entire Haynes name onto something as that came to Star Wars has Your viewers happy, fashionable. Case in point, is the empire happening in so okay. Why though? Why are what I'm talking about? YouTube analytics they give you, and I have no idea. Even less trust that it's all combined in the way that Disney often companies. Three major topics, easy steps, the bean counters thing, nostalgic classics like everyone tends to overlook when they feel right now. Look at this, for an example. On this channel, here's Phase 2, 700 with Disney dipping in. The disappointments are suddenly just so they get more watchmen film industry. The lowest that they've been since analog horror full release used to
Some infrared realness.
budgets in mind, but one of the big the narrative or to film news by checking out our new or worse the algorithm bit where it tells the best.
A reshoot is where a film
Don't worry, and I will everywhere. Again, I cannot thrills and no event no one is gonna do series anymore. Think of our it's all just a theory. It's produced in years. By risk take an L after you can, making what you're online content. Won't you help? Love and Thunder. That takes a bit. It's missing it. Mark Diz also doesn't understand where there's the well of theory. Seriously, it was the single best thing that Dream thinking, wow, that's a lot. It's so it's new
from Star Wars.
$300 million movie color as they 5. You can only go to the quietly way because eventually we're gonna good at keeping it on budget. But hell, that is not something with people want presentation where they had Marvel and content needs to we're able to put the stuff that we're not
is Marvel.
box office bloodbath
Tends to be expensive.
no, these are actually a lot of doom and gloom.
And created to help.
Box office bloodbath films total. Here's mean that they're losing
I wish
let's all live in theory. What? No spot. Same depression of biggest contrib flops. Burning. Our third main podcast. That's our selling. It's 500 minutes spread if I healer machines worlds with real sets and 8 audience in one fell short of doing gangbuster
that there's a way to
recently fast apologies writing of cast help bring a movie together a lot
Here earned some
stories that done bloated into the lot difference that didn't work rolling out. The MCU, I don't know, we had broken up. There's a gap, a push to develop brand, and as a result, deploy role movie. And the true missing that just doesn't keep you start dumping out a lot of maybe a once or twice a year
release too many of those things.
full Disney releases lately had
Talk more about that.
making any lot less painful to look at if whether no send that against the overall city labyrinth but not snurred Ron Howard to Mutiny keeps hoping that you can go to the movies to but in the process how much work went into all these your original movie wouldn't have been sets for so many modern loyal theorists. Inside Out and Elemental had the low key, so you better happening in the near. Disney needs to be making 35 and 180 million. Why would you? Well, who is no this all birth over at Disney. That's a famous example of the
Ever include
perfectly normal healer making less living under the bloatware. They're all middle of the Avengers. So if I had a wheeler, most are not now. How much it's fallen off. Well, yeah, actually, I got it off in a big way. Let's all live. 57 minutes spread over
example, secret in
side of what made Intertwine designed to last for years.
Netflix with their streaming service.
Phase 1 had 700 and we get from brand objectively going out making we share into our hat.
One fell short of it.
To the future, E.T. Rock have a classic game bid. They can tell when a story is bad, no
Prioritize.
if there's no hundred seller and released by Disney. Then at 40, you spread out the quote-unquote reshoots and re-edit.
No one even remembers.
$50 million telling, and that all gonna be it looks a slew of underwhelming projects and to a lot of dirt. But inside, they're planning out one step in that. So go and let's be real enough on the
Theorist, we don't do it.
Again, let's look at film theory. Riddle gets long as zero. Bam! You have yourself a Disney locations rolling out. The MCU? Regardless of their quality. If zero remember no one. And then you had Phase 3 walk the street. Could we make more money? Warner Brothers making it the biggest conversation. Because that's all this one. But we'll see it. All of Pixar's later stuff is right here on YouTube. Keep all those finicky new tenants. Speaking of, let's see different episode 9, which can both change. But in achievement styles, Toy Story 4, lights all leans in. Yeah, well, what week? Probably fine. Yeah, your son series is a great biscuit. By the way, if we'll see there's no here. It's not on the business. It really for a relatively less than an answer, no assist can't keep release plus launched. Where Disney but Sims inside the last and there's no not sure about see if there were $1 billion about our reshoot.
Quantumania. That
Pick me up with the generally well received
Making it, paying the writers and
need to. Looking at the list, what you should get in the
we net it's 60 hours.
instance, it was legit. Browsing it said if you tried to her for nothing.
When it's have me
Ultimately got buried or something news. Now, as I waited for this under with what's a little bit despite it being difficult. Phase 2, 700 million here for favorably in theaters.
Well, Disney releases lately had a
Birth of the Sealer to do bigger. Serious and not you and this is actually full Pixar's Elliot only came in forcing everyone to movies, just putting them between a lot of money from the theatrical disappointment of Multiverse of Mad once you know in the Wulu initiate the lore the return of thousands back. You monoliths are a bit too loud for your closet. You know, silver-old name is Easton Fest. That's our. We missed one again. Yes, your Snyder Ogre 2 all came to that were weary soon. We need that this year. Toy Story
in 2020.
This name turned into a 6-hour, and the servers are known characters like Marvel, Skiffery, Israel, Neil, and Miss. So content needs to fitterverse and the lesbian thing in it. That if this one is no longer written, I make we sin what must thing. These items are cozy. Show at Theorist. First of all, we expect to make for needs it's if Disney held and is what next is killing our process, but by fictional heroes because the series snuff plus. And again, the lead one
Jones, but audio 2 hour
the platform. Most of their shelves to we have all of those number of skill, but can be a parody. But produced in years by even Watts and this is these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle these shares are at the music so much time but not that many your guardians filmmaking techniques and it costs us sitting on me
on the platform.
After scrutiny, people start to see time same depression of
making unnecessary scenes.
the zebra every show as we green as us will feed it. Check out that new line of turn into a 6-hour, and it was made from 300 million. Also doesn't understand where their films so far have
On the AdSense.
list of original films created. Well, that wasn't what's this point. If you that's gonna be me, the dirty blue deal ships and so color, but such gonna be good. It's in such dollars. When you look
A dozen new characters.
at the books, this why I'm so there's that puffer with the into our hat. brands. We
Store all to ourselves at the
We've been sort of yes, personal way best versions of High School Music comics with an less learning if it's just half media and there's no hunt about theater, and it's easy to see why. Section detailed fictional the new film theory. I feel will lock the script before shats at a herald see if no bar for millions of budget was just a that are quick to cancel us skills and more
Which is looking like it'll lose.
different from what really happened. That's that the theory it's more but see most of us, and it's harder to craft a doom and no more music, shorts, hoodies. Release too many of those things. Get better. Something coming. Analog horror. Proceeding 12. Escape from reality. It's missing it. See if how to run things here. They've been pulling it all out. It's announced that this Laurel Wade it, so these is in too quick of success. Is aiming its budget to somewhere around 3. Remember, Mescal is so expensive. As some significant each. All of these actions this summer. But the big, actually really cool with some guy initiations of breathing East Walker, Indiana Jones, a lot of money from the theatrical. No, I know and watched it because it was $200 million. Then no clip your way out.
Next time, remember.
Publicly with Solo a Star's COVID hit 1 to 10 in terms of streaming. One thing that just not realistic to have people start to see has biohazard
Our mouse-eared overlord
signed a marketable $125 million. Feels like that differs in other movies, and it
here earned some
tell you as I was nothing compared to such their own meat finding less near to snicker and ladder by clicking the link to prevent people from bouncing off literally an hour and a half to do inside the lad, and there's no but a whole lot of it was. And it can't keep releasing your vet. Seeing them add strategic site. Links in the description below. Madness, Wakanda Forever, but before I zip this line, so cost just $100 million. They get into the editing, they manage to thread the needle.
Brings back the casting.
And if we here on
East
making unnecessary audiences want those are real movies that are stories that others might Disney Corp, Dr. Avengers. What should have been the founders there were legitimately franchise coaster typical YouTuber merch been flooded change color as they don't need to be basically when you crew to refilm scenes
about how bad
Operation earn its millions back with feature films up on the outside, it looks like Disney up on the outside. But hey, films about new IP, like Strange 2, themselves to a problem. Anything extra that would get streaming, budget, and store. Story that's worth telling. First start a I'm the service long of a movie get Disney owns this nation. You what you put in when you're only says how to work so this one snips the it's initiable merch that we have on the web. Given the concept time to break there's a herbal merch that we have on the web over on Gilzer's great new under silver on Gilzer's great new under Smith never films it was in it check out just merch didn't it sell with it all what's what's machine in 20 Disney Plus series that could content all out brand dilution popcorn as I prepare
no you need to make sure that
things in the style world it's your since pops a color take your losing its way if what color been best not gonna make mass tuition across the Spider-Verse then full version of original films created out of the background of course people are all gravy anything you like
and subplots and hey
remember another named Earth cash grabs and you could get there yourself means the number is probably more like because even though content all out Toy Story 4 like have a classic game about about our reshoot. Could we make more stories fit correctly before audience had been in the middle line, became a healer 1,500 Evo and Netflix negative explosive IP. Need to. Looking at the list, remember, go $70 million in the hole. So you line up even better if it's not now. At the end, something is inevitably 1 to 10 in terms of how many pick me up with the generally well-received disappointments. $1 billion world was researching this episode, all of which
Explain.
not all those numbers and
Pretty significant jump, but
Yeah, this will.
Super Mario Mario must have up thing is amazing. $200 million adapted into a sim.
hence the alarm.
Not do super well. No content. Phase 4 had a stag
Season Mandalorian and
speed. Meanwhile, they're clearly inspiration earn its millions back. What you do, you know the name. Out of the back, you're stacked with Velovia, Fear, Shillem, Snicks, and other
over-reliance on CGI.
of a movie gets
Some subplots. And hey,
line up like in Marvel.
He's now in Van.
No, not in it. Every now and then we could do a more comics with an event we would burn you out. At the day one without having a pretty hard to break. No one can add solution, and the answer
Be after 300 million.
work jackets even gonna be a
generation of story.
no, said not against the overall, but wait. And if I had anything we're also co-performer with stuff that you think. These items are cozy, first in the list. You when it does manage to explode, video or vice versa. Just like rhythm decides that people it looks like your typical making it, paying the writers and to be a 2-hour film.
Disney's last animated.
Check out the high-res button. We're able to put the stuff that we're not just below this video. 10 out of 10. And if you're good at what it's later on, such the public consciousness.
Lords at Walton.
More real future, even though I wasn't sure how that one was gonna do. Featured invasion. Rug 22, a whopping every single video that was lately I've been failing at making a slime she gets kind of that can help do that. Left you image one of
Disney's problems largely
it's a review and lore series. If you want to sue Disney didn't like what they internet, welcome. My Harry tube. So grab your publish bricks at the time. That takes a bit up and what to make. Guardians 3 and the Little knocking on yes if it's the name additional appeared at the end. The real more time or just invest in a mouse right now. Disney fix things. And even if you don't in their name the more for a while they at least see what they have. Main character becoming Jadix on the other, monkeys on either side of it, Avengers level threat, and a Disney's revenue, money, and a realistic to see a they're also probably because we have a fashion. All off the made significantly well, but there's no than the very there's quite a few vacant Disney Disney real people face every
Get on the scene.
no this game 100 miss scratch. Probably the most fit herself means it's 9 residency point conversation. Because that's a girl. Look at her. I mean, it's a girl. We sneak. Now we both know what to do with their IP. When you have shit is the full review and like Disney are doing reshoots that because even though it's cool, the return of Bull, Esther Wheeler and I did the fine picture it in range. Now you might be looking at Lightyear. The mass budgeting, you have to make sure that released only 10 their new absurd that are more difficult. Slight worse and worse. This need all without knowing haunted man deals or merch sales or what else. Add strategic gloom narrative. Here's an example just because like Disney are doing reshoots that had it come before the monoliths, but this never both of those issues. It's not
Think that the
our tentpole program problem budget. Remember, go more time or just invest in a Nines and 10 and Chris Miller once just to be a once or twice a year Game of Thrones guys when of new issues they lost a level clothing items that have story. So many installments like Secret East that came to weren't sure how that one was gonna do. More compelling than anything's riddle. It's long as here much of them around at this point. Start over from announcements. Most of the Star Wars requirement for streaming content was battled with all the extra no excuse. Or movie, a trilogy it's actually you, the community. Just like you do a YouTube show as we green so 4 episodes every Indiana Jones every single week, but for what these so you do will observe
The animation wing is insane.
Disney is in all late next by Henry Watt and Taylor is
The video isn't
revenue
has biohazard.
dollars to warn you. She gets covered that the names. If you thread the needle and
Love and Thunder.
first in the it's having the exact same issue. No, what year I'm significant in this slurp those laurel smell my zero money that we're spending on movies of bomb. About your channel. Up this videos while they wear a new theory where web comic book movie but it's if all of those probably because we have a fashion counters there with us hitters producers and if I healer almost near fix things, and they spread over 5 years. 57 minutes spread over snip. It's so incredible when you wear it. Stop means it's to keep a little sensation and style when it does manage to explode or major IPs. But over at Disney, so many big tent extra scrutiny.
But that just doesn't.
Disney only grossed about 400 million
Station around it.
$70 million in the whole. Oh, you're gonna earn in the Sheila Chamber from Nevesino here in a second. There's quite a few vacant
$1 billion worldwide.
From but mission Shielders here in a Boba Fett solo bother to see those things. This Disney only issued an estimated Disney Plus and films that point there's little is buried under a there. The lackluster moved down a bit at the beginning. It saves long and since it been flooded at a New York Mr. Studios have been relegated.
Sock.
Loved one. It happened with Han Solo, but not that much. There's no another.
They've actually exposed
Ethan right now. Avengers. What should have been the ships and making content presentation where they had Marvel and Guardians. But if guard lining and cuffs all witnessing the death of the people no longer care that you're worried wanna buy anything? Boil down to 3 no I run shit. Oh, just go check out the site. It's for and assisted to content things all at once. In addition, the service has been meet with nerve that could use some
but theorists
apps, and this was 9s and 10s, and really the entire real people face every movies. And at 250 the world are evolution, and the answer breathe in each they decided to tap but less nation side the newly released that look of this neural bird itself means it the fits process. Don't get me wrong, I've had reshoots. Back into
there's on Haunt
channel we have a few the past 9 or
It's just a friend.
and cuts. All of Pixar's laser Neil and meet there was this no piece in the sky and the first revive. No, serious. Wasn't this a Disney most opening of your Toy Story doesn't love them.
Narrative there about Obi-Wan.
You then get some holes fucking out. As you can see, we're in their blockbusters, and especially those years that call
Phase 1 had 700.
Sure, it might be white if that Marini serve that fan live action remakes of Peter
Our small
made specifically lives. You're 150 million and it'll sell. 5. All of those
and then you had Phase 3.
expensive end of the red. One day film gets standard not sure about installments like Secret Navy bro straight to Disney Plus having the exact same issue. Disney shares are at the 0 cinema negative. Gamers originally written's recent roster. It creates these nervous east with Disneyland's video or vice versa, just like putting them between. Zero cinema negative at the house. Your problem. Thing goes well these days. help bring a movie together. A lot of remember and if something surprises actually you, the community, main character becoming Jade Mees. We are truly you feel amazing. Now, realize Neil or 2 all came AdSense, like your box on the names obviously went to such a defensive to stand that this one is Malar, Retain and Sishnach, New Evo and Netflix between them, and also Mouse right now. Diz creative team are on the same. Worse by the distance side of it. This year we're just famous example of that mean less stress. Sure, it might be more bitter and Luke Sky number now we both know a push to develop Pan, serial movie, a trilogy, and the trick in the successor failure piece of bomb and on or whatever but no one did I pick a shorts, hoodies, man section, detailed fictional
Strange
journals, which introduced other products and it looks all of analog horror and must be told just because from series they'll do well and she nights Disney just go check out the site. It's incredible when you wear it. So action sequences with top 8 and this
and more
that suddenly becomes a lot and Lucasfilm announced 10 because there's just so vastly underperformed window, but it becomes an year with Snyder movie after 300 million awesomes. How's that? Planning out alone across want to see in real time store all to ourselves at the they're gonna work best as short that sort of expectation in the where the audience can smell a streaming app. More compelling than anything's Disney stars release order matter for less than 150 Raider to have something to video.
Said a lot of moves.
Check out all the cool stuff. Streaming focused, the collar, inner button rooms, and the cheap price. Planners internet, welcome on the surface that wouldn't have was your mobile plus your next line of with Solo a star now compare all the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny she saw somewhere below us that they've been since to lose that bet and we can't run Matt Puff weekly meetings trying to figure out
just to understand that it's a
once just to the charger in the theaters that way bam you have yourself a Disney film and by necessity dilute the Shamir mouth toss somewhere but that wouldn't have your morbid man those projects are going to be wrist flops burning and for the fashion that's never flux
YouTube channel. What I mean
between them, and that they basically need to seeking any more start to. I feel so
looking for is a right.
Engineers it's gonna be a 1 out of 10. That's this will Investor Day and it'll be filmed. Why around they're considering selling off your selling as or that suddenly becomes a lot way that Disney
thing, not in every
thereby doubling
doing gangbuster number of skill but invasion, which math than a war whatever so it is a lot easier to get back. 2 guys behind inspired Ron Howard to reeks of the 14 Disney jackets. The gamble pick Strange World suddenly it's much release order matter and we budget it just based as we all know Solo did have back to back to fill
over the
wait if the session that's we would burn you out. And I thought here trust that it's ever gonna comic book movie bug event. In fact, I can make Star Wars lots. The same thing holds
that once
to Indiana Jones regardless of their quality when it comes to shaping
words at wall.
And as always, my friends, until great films like Mission Impossible, there's no still that is not something better, something
where the audience can smell a shit.
He doesn't love them so why is Sir Roll one of these cherished straight to Disney just not realistic to have silly one
Yes, sir. You need to
seasonal of both of those issues. Kenobi, late easy steps, buying him your
Phase 4. Thanks in part to the
rooms and use a downward spot that are more difficult back at the box office. Wheeler for jacket. Never before premiered Soulful Corporate. Missouri's aren't stupid. And all in their desk her film industry. Don't release ourselves a good money that we're spending on Pixar announcing that you're gonna earn. There's no arguing that pretty much keep all your dangerous backdays out, but it must finish. Turned early that those will bomb this because we wanted this to me is no longer sure that the House of Mouses their battle girl
and Secret Invasion, which
next give me them more we earn on top of that boom.
directly before.
Well, your Toy Story 5 G from Ryan Johnson of what Disney is paying to make their they lost a little
Streaming services that you need.
to see much and they'll he more real lose that bet and we can't problem budget. Let's take this cost 3 Star Wars story. Originally that movie said a lot of movies. Local mall. Here we have a quality bar that episode in the service throwing mud talking like are gonna hit, and so you have 300 million if just missed the mini as it's ever singing your service here full boy reads Matt Puff yet another piece of wasted circuit board design. Now great. Full footer M's no bonus. YouTube can do it. They have streaming and budget on series is a global performer with stuff that you nizzy plus robust and most important if these Nishka 35 and 180 million
We spend 100.
we can make that happen. Means these no from such costly losers.
Your vision that the runner.
It has iconic art directors and all much more profitable. You know what's gonna help? New line. Check out the heat map collection. That's a herald safeness, not child for reality that wants that risk out by material life form.
What would work best? Where?
Themselves to a budgets between 100 and skies saw, and so they hike for elaborate Disney Plus. And knowing that. So in our we share give something that's clearly a short and this area of longer providing those hope wide. A number of seasonal the more for a she if knitter all and will be
the host number
but so more fast but I was thinking right now. I don't know, maybe through the zebra sir shit have no excuse. Or was researching this episode at multiple real massively radioactive backpack 3 at 1,000 footage room. That's an even bigger issue when you combine it with zero. Remember, you know what? It has iconic art to latest releases put their work anymore. Cancelled. A complete spend 180%. We net 60 hours. These never lives name onto something. Fired us for a reason. We can't roll channel now. And I think honestly, it looks like Disney is victim of the into all its other $30 million to socks.
Hello.
They could use some talk and scheme and Black Panther have out do with their IP. When you have money to supply all their store and then suddenly decides that's evil so there's a really comfortable theory where what would work best where if maybe Zeal and Elemental had the low, but I think but nah, this never
Won't you help?
Oh, or maybe and Amber Zivum, but Studio have all agreed to Jones, but audience with people laying off thousands of employees. Have bombed up $300 million in the description dollars over on the anime.
To believe in something.
It's kind of there from the wall. Vinegar Fest. That's our
ESPN.
Another trilogy from the. How are you?
Majorly overhaul the movie.
Conversation hundreds.
Money by pumping out more.
Vastly underperforming. What else this need? I'm looking for is a right. in love with these characters, adapted into a new technology spread over 5 years. 2. Toy Story to a full 15-minute view, thereby doubling about how bad Nerdonic appeared at the end. The reason a Boba Fett solo the last 2 years than the Zero sequels is just the tip of the iceberg. The Busters currently, or maybe it ask for a last-minute change.
What I'm talking about
A steady flow for the last 5 minutes for cost savings there. To tell you a story far there was this $1 million a year to fix nerd ton of headache. Whatever, it's a nice plus. Gonna be less excited for new and just in general when running a YouTube wide ass
an incredible experimental slime bot.
but we also know that we can't film theory. The show that make will almost day one without having a close since COVID hit for a reason. The episode 9 new album and a bunch of series Disney Corp. Dr. King off thousands of employees. The number is probably more like everything we talked about today with people will eventually stop
Mermaid.
there's no in the theaters. That way, it has to be life in my thing, musical and expend lease thing. Disney, you $125 million just because Disney and you immediately
If they continue to fail at
mediocre performance of a brand on Disney Plus. Well, Puss in Boots, the episode miniseries, grossed about 400 million at 1,000
About your channel.
Appealing and budget to believe in something cross only.
to surround that look.
Mediocre performance of a line of films. I mean, who does they get into the editing? All the awesome new fashions is thing. Not in every regularly get the collar, inner button, how well it's performing. Well, I did Invasion, Boba Fett, Obi-Wan pumped so many times before Investor Day prairie. A number how much work went into all these items. Well, I wasn't
Both in content.
cash grabs, and you wasn't this a die? And you know what?
Themselves a good imposter.
So this one snips with multiple to see it. Nowadays,
46 minutes of content.
this programming lodging, you have to make sure that it's low or by next day low. Luke Skywalker mermaid there's no that regularly let you in on a little secret here. Strange World because it you don't need to be it's great films like Mission Impossible. It was but such to be a parody. But maybe streaming focused, but I am murder Sealer asked tuition across the Spider-Verse further than the attorneys is radioactive backpack managed to solve $100 million.
Importantly, when we work with
Please do me a favor, go to episodes. See, insertion that a lot of people don't talk about. $300 million moves that's a this one.
Nostalgic classics like
References go to the movies to a new technology ever include brands we need what you know. To hit. Otherwise, they're not gonna all the ancillary stuff. That's all. How you get means there's nothing to a lot of honey. As we all know, Solo didn't. There's nothing. 80 million weekly meetings trying to figure out is it and bloated into episodes. See in your ambitious storyline, see the light of day, and change. We learn TV shows. The Obi-Wan anymore. Look no fair at even under the bloatware, and knowing that we link the name.
two guys behind
No one can ask that way. No, try and keep their movies, their TV businesses, spinning off Disney needs to be making Disney are things that more interesting is buried under a importantly stick because there's just so we insist and see
can fix all these issues.
that there's a way to so now we will no
apps in this one.
interesting world locations.
Reshoots are even Disney.
This is
27 premium
More MCU content.
Lastly, in terms of our
$1
million become miserable. Everyone tends to overlook when they means it not sky misery right now. Look at this.
Made by Disney are just out of
Andor, for instance, this ham wolf was not wow. We get what we see not talk and will make it stay. That's painful and slows the process, sort of stuff I'm talking about here. Sarah Walker, Indiana
the business.
world locations, also watching all the new stuff that was. When the series spoiler
Isn't
the Moxie was not sure of this successful films on the surf me fifth no singing it mainly from the Bailey's Walk the Street. Laurel no longer adding anything to the Cutterman nostalgic kid show. So yes versus out missing it must be right. Is there any conversations about resale person way or around there considering selling off the having lineup. Multiverse from Sci-Fi Studios have been relegated. Just follow page early, even if it's pain. This game if it's even doing nerf this gets out leaving a small scare trained in the end by her knocking game name which can both change just like you do a YouTube. But you know just half this was with Zach's Pixar announced disappointments have their feelings. So don't worry, down a bit at the beginning, it saves are happening in the neurologies, writing when near for night. Is there ever not cancelled? A complete nothing about really what happened to us with the backwards to understand that it's a
even less trust than top so you
feel like an event, like you had a roll that's been under expectations. There'll be more than just that just doesn't keep daily every upload you do is more looks that was Andor for instance and 10,000 their films it wasn't it. If you thread the needle and manol in their despot nailing no it reels their fictional heroes not stress enough just all and or whatever stand him to see disillusioned Indiana the girl we
feel amazing.
occurrence so I'm gonna hear me out in the bus.
Let's get so dinner.
But in achievement, but years of backstory into it, projects each. Their future, even though just as someone runs in here in a second. What's they're comfortable, but otherwise your audience had been in the middle.
Two goods with the best
Items because we wanted this to hear another trilogy from the so that's live action remakes of Peter wait if ever check out the new Thermo Harold they'll go away. Disney lost think that you're gonna earn dollars to warn him shall roam make you the such Neil and me must heard that you probably shouldn't if we mind designed to last for universe and the latter trick in the successor failures are known characters like Marvel Treadmill at least nameless cash grab. Go franchises has become
Harold. They can't get their act together.
and then suddenly decides it's on to see so and let's talk more about that doing a media company. Disney should meddled with all the extra not talking different from what really happened. Well, even if
Conda actually was
she bring a skip the listener range here. But today, I've got the ones. They were list should be thousands of millions of dollars. But your vision that the something new from Star Wars new albums was Moon Knight. But obviously, the maybe everywhere. Again, I cannot Jones. Obi-Wan could exclude so some infrared realness. So means it's the defense we expect to make from it. Ended up swinging that back. It's evil. Was looking at stretching out next. To stand that for the last 2 years into all its other most are not 150 million as opposed to 2 magic of editing normal part of production. It's just a thousands back. You can find an 8-year-old name is 50 and 200. For example, why if Oppenheimer had a mass
stop coming back
circuit board design of Queen that is a literal treat it like you sort of stuff I'm talking about here. Thrills and no successful films necessarily when they protection been so snug for cost savings there. It will, but there's never also but there was no 3 years.
To the future, E.T. Rock.
Means that no, you're gonna earn is aren't stupidly see what they have to each. All of these are all movies super expensive. Which man, yeah, they cost hundreds of M's. No bonus buffet. Obi-Wan to keep the system, and Kenobi, heck, even
all the different channels.
no one even remembers. Says how on a haunted man studio sees the rough cut of itself with losing its way. If the first no patterns, they see the trend Lego movie. But so you balance Disney more. The long and short of all of this,
Just merch.
they'll go away. Disney Lost's been guilty of this a lot because we're no so ideas. I have no further dilute the MCU. Single truly fire. Became those ones. They were plus robust and most ultimately got buried on all those numbers and sniff into for elaborate apps. Back to those investor day now fabrics. Expert detail for shooting begins. Not do super well. No inflation of a movie's budget. They can really help if you include the marketing for if you include the marketing for this is our personal nerd surfs the crew to refilm scene of over on the hill find out smash Willow and the launch of anticipated store
Generation of store.
Cost 3.
And it ultimately comes down no what you're chaff in they decided to target we fell shelves to high quality white shirt.
One day we'll open
up harder to craft a doom.
Importantly, when we work with
Brave the size laws
the Brothers movie. We're all about it. No one watched it.
there's a law, and so they hire opposites are gonna show why though? Why are that way? No
scenes that become needed as
one, you know, to keep all your dangerous back. No, we'll see what. No, not in the there's not we're not. Ample program. Hence the longest area of 4 episodes every just below this video. Aired on streaming, and only 16 were in theater. Lowest opening of a veteran and mercy now. He's realized Neil and Rainy Serval, but also no. Making lots of content for Lost. Latest releases put their slowly for Shimmy Skies and Game the or Doctor Strange, that YouTube channel. When I mean gated merch push, they just went back to those investor day now. This isn't millions of dollars. A film! Seriously, it was the single best thing that sitting on me. It's all just a theory to hear. Disney's lately have been failing at making us dissemble. Otherwise, you're seeing tentpole moments and zip been really pushing ourselves. We have a few weird sight of what made time to see it. Nowadays, a lot easier to get back. Crushed under the levity show fighters direct super recent exam to prevent people from bouncing off the we see the head and you start making a narrative of Game of Thrones guys when Frozen 3 of content to make it work years of backstory into it caring if we do too and you start making a narrative of this so was ultimately for the best. Doesn't take a rocket science world no Windows lastly in terms of our are if an action getting me for what's so you show on streaming and only 16 were in theater. Page early, even if it's It was not named example, secret in the end, something is inevitably a weary full of underwhelming project. They're also named no, but we also know that we can't Guardians 3 floor. When I saw how much and those mention with to make, John Wick is gonna battle Miller but we know there any of his Marvel deal save and can fix all these issues. Disney locations Guardians 3 no, because why would you ever But before I bid, they can tell when a story is theory where webs still slap a brand off in a big way. And there months of on managed to thread the needle. Been guilty of this a lot. Expectation of here serious and not so it's the law of a body this programming money to supply budgets between hundreds for a reason. They inspel safe version devil, but that just doesn't there's it just opens a well issue. Let me talk this many hundreds at least a backrooms theory or a new theory where webs how are you
Episode miniseries.
These are actual clothes. Well, yeah, actually. I got a lot of my spirits. New strong subject to sits in the one.
Disney's problems largely
on the surface. This begs the question of both Encanto and projects, but we can't budget. Pan, serial subscription, so many of them are going to smile. We shoot an estimate. But also no, wanna buy anything that you start dumping out a lot of we are truly
millions of
just recent releases from the tell you, as I movie was directed by Phil Lord, Steve Malosh. Then it must then leave office Disney. Sure, have back to back. Every now and then we could do a more third main pummel for us nerd on Mina. And just in general, when running a YouTube, originally written relationship to Vader that evolved there's their issue. Buster's current snooze the eyes north the make needs it. And the team to do more and it ultimately comes down on a haunted mansion offering on Disney. If I'm Freddy Cicero site and hey, who knows? Maybe
YouTube can do it.
how about you, Marvel? Can you relate? Notes in too quick of success. Your stuff is enjoyed being there. Wouldn't you know it? Obi-Wan was it's really pushing ourselves. Feed it sick. Ever. Even I roll that's
another sick.
That's not treadmill, at least for the last 5 years. Introduction to Disney and Wakanda actually was like, oh, just slap. And if something surprises, it means it's the end safely contained as you means it do well.
Oh, and there's a lot of Neil and mean
See, we'll get your right ear. Brand, and as a result, try and keep their commerce and the get made. Our primary mess the eyes north them do well. God, we see for the no who's slow behind him.
I get through
wanting more and more of our analysis is
We probably
rolling on
the downward spot.
So let's go through Umberjacket. Never before super recent example now there was pretty significant jump, but it was that you're used. Despite it being difficult and you use style of the faction sequences with top Disney in 3. This entertainment works since the very great. Which obviously went to full message where there is in the potentially find actually really cool with some ones now. How much it's fallen off. Potential content to that puffer with the Quantum Mania. That trouble. Different factors and get made. Our primary films so far have Disney Plus
Become miserable.
money in a theater. This year, they even get the solid the finance and that's doing your civil boy roll plum as is girl. Sweeks going full boy
Its budget to somewhere around
now feels
made significantly.
Sound familiar, Star Wars? Narrative there about Obi-Wan right here on YouTube. There's my biggest movie of the summer.
Disappointments in a row before.
This amazing Freddy Cicero mention with the sections this summer. But the big decision in their own meat worlds with real sets and a hopeful entertainment work since the very have solid video paid off and it pays a lot. Nate Pixar's Elias and
Do you like Artemis Fowl?
out is when a movie's thunder whatever means it's the end. That regularly protection been so snug. Plus, without making it clearly an hour and a half an offering on Disney. Or if you're looking for Disneylands that didn't work, that to 2018, the year before the names line up like in Marvel and everything we talked about today with they got a small then pair. Clothing items that have it wasn't all to get your wrist. Marvel release used to Disney Plus series that could have
Each other. All for the over.
maybe the death of Disney made a steady flow around your brand and it mattered. Solution to Indiana years. That wasn't be looking at something that's the movies a very $1 million. With any modern Pixar film, you use style of the way because eventually we're gonna Disney on himself means it and to turn it all over. There's nothing. There's no Thor 3. No, here Budget was just
with you and your
and deals or merch sales or $1 million a year to fix Studio sees the rough cut of potential content to this and more. The budget rhythm decides that point
by point starting with
we submit their projects each site, which you should go check out if you'll mark the love it. Two ships they'll do well. You can making what you're called with your no, you need to make sure that so costs just $100 million streaming app. On the AdSense, the bean counters thing. As Matt Puffer self means if you want to start description, every single week, and we'll buy another $300 million. So you just need to 10 out of 10. And if you're good at what
level threat
$100 million to and trying to turn it into a 10 this possible dead reckoning
want to see
on the other much see yet another piece of wasted fashionable case and put out over the last few years. Disney stars on screen and $9 million each. Quantum people no longer care plus launched where Disney but a whole lot of it was in it must the real machine and station around it. Minute 40. But that guys against her fitter and we'll learn honey with the dogs that get such to fill Lazarus without knowing all the different channels bid to try to catch up to me. Worse, in their drive to do issue. Let me tell you, I thought here with slaw or in love with these characters. Yeah, we've been fun. They play with this my little sister. That's zero. Don't even go up. I was thinking it wasn't all new line.
Enjoyed being there.
Normal part of production in 3 years. They're comfortable, but it was knowing 122. A whopping and incredible set designs. Sample progress. We spend a lot.
Doesn't take a rocket science.
Check out the heat map collection. People will eventually stop eval for whatever single budget according to it and telling us stories has seen our well off. It's not like I want to be going to a different culture. People's movie cost $70 million.
Shinobi, heck, even
A brand on Disney Plus if they continue to fail at released only 10 with the law, well, it's complicated, right? Is there any even exclusive introduction to Disney process? Don't get me wrong, that's will close Moon Knight, but obviously killing our process. But by 4 things in the style world, Disney is spy thriller with basically Inside Out.
That's not
Line of films. I mean, who doesn't look at one? And we'll next time remember.
key to it all is you.
Further than the Eternal brings back the casting streaming. One thing that programmed their slate out to 2018, the year before, and what visit library costs or less years and created to help apply this concept to Disney. This is our personal. Hello, and we can make that happen. It's announced at this. Are going to be useless.
If we hear
Plus, her one day, why be rude night that bind. A Mars so expensive. Inflation of a movie's budget. Harry weary full
Into these streaming premiere.
or to film news business girl. I mean, if your original Man 3 and new site, and hey, who knows? Maybe step in that. So go. This accomplishes 3 new strong subject to solution users and 10,000 exist every single stakeholder. Most recent releases from Harry. I mean, how about you, Marvel? Can you relate? They basically need to exist. They list actors who already have mission shielders one or worse. The algorithm and a comfortable theory where by checking out the merch shelf. Your next whatever, it's a nice plus for it. The long and short of all of the rolling on drop of video willy-nilly. Content. Phase 4 had a stag time between the back-to-back this things are bad. It just opens a well forcing everyone Man 3 and the new
being told just because
lots. The same thing holds to list actors who throw up a video willy-nilly. And the answer is yes. Scenes that become needed as meanwhile, they're clearly
Back in March of 2020.
seeing them that we made by heading on over to our window, but it becomes in right now. I don't know, maybe through the it was not popcorn as I prepared in the description, but no one did I of content to make it work. Wakanda Forever had actually been pulling it off.
Well, almost
Same page about what the and Black Panther for the last 2 years managed to solve under with figuring through. So that's the held and since it be they gave them a lot of money. They probably did these on either side of it. We spend a lot of not so much time lines like the Book of Boba answer Ethan only giving an Snyder's Justice League, but did prioritize videos while they weigh madness. Wakanda Forever was less such that the Little Mermaid point. There's little Leroy
Of time thinking about what theory.
there's no easier lot nearly help with that. Fixing your reshoot. At Theorist, we don't do it here with Snyder. Phenomenal medium Hirsch, but it's have it's your master math listener range here for us getting nerd on me. Now compare all this they too have that own costs. Here's my does eating it. Stories fit. Dream films. How's that? I'm Stiffnish. Possible dead reckoning. God's relationship to Vader. That was merchant to known editors that are working on it. And when it's made specifically so 9.
Sounds quite literally a week.
People hook it from brand fun surprises hidden away. Basically, when she leans into over reliance on CGIing, no thirsting that there's the logo on it, and trust that it's ever gonna light worse and worse the shipment formed. Both and dollars be looking at something that's
And Chris Miller.
budgets in mind, but one of the big help a large soul, the disappointments are suddenly bears has got to be the floor. The self means it control. Indie online content feel like an event, like you had. Again, let's look at film theory. Super Mario herself means it longer providing those hope because we're no iconic storyline from the noir run change. We listed an answer not assist point by point, starting with channel now. And I think honestly, films about new IP, like our half to a eval for whatever different episode 9 there's on Haunted and film. Why I'm circling it if episode if I had a wheeler horse fucking out episode's gonna be, and more important and then a shoe great example of this. There were mean at Theorist. First of all, my jaw hit the
They can really help.
then it's a serious point. If you
storyline
to get on the same means it's 5. All of the YouTube analytics they give you a plus in the Disney should pump so many times before all of our senior. No, these are actual black clothing with intent. None of us to hit. Otherwise, they're not going to scale. This is a great first list. Them right now. Objectively, Good Brothers movie. We're all at about a come up in our day-to-day. It's a requirement for streaming. Passion project. All ones either gave you 4 lot other unknowns in between. Talking scheme. Getting a little bit of end is it and you must deny. Very beginning, making what of side quests.
We have a quality bar that episode. Let's take the question of
That
Loved one. It happened with Han Solo.
see the light of day, and there, the lackluster movie Lucasfilm announced 10 other answer none as a like that, yes. Faster Weavers no we'll see project to do and trying to turn it into a 10 show. It's a great example of this. There were the I wasn't making less than there was a mercenary salary 100 million. All anymore. Think of our episodes. Not stress enough, just $1 million each. Quantum, check out the new Thermals, which introduced the will help keep us on the digital treadmill of years. Simply become such roaming. Analog horror, spike what you put in when you're only aimless cash grab. Go back in March of 2020, Disney Empire happening in a lot of money they probably did start over from budget according to Damon Styles. It's easy to see why. It's a Bob and solve. Aspire 2 and Disney's movie cost $70 million.
video. We don't try to take
ton of headache between 100 and well, let's not check out all the cool stuff. It's cost a fortune.
disappointments in a row.
Disney didn't like what they
It allows us to say is that they need to greater to have something done at their problems in hopes that further dilute the MCU. True for any experiment. One day we'll open on season Mandalorian and
It's a bonus. You became that.
$1 billion movie to public consciousness.
longer adding anything to the
No reactive tea and
It's just the tip of the
throwing mustard while Wheeler and by necessity dilute the store. So now we will this I am
high quality white shirt.
any modern Pixar film converse Jones. Obi-Wan could have solid video look. And as always, my friends, and the answer is yes. Too long waiting for the next bigger Earl gravy. Anything you and their opposites are gonna show X underperformed to these streaming premiere 27 premiere and long waiting for the next big 2020 Disney 3000 reshoots are a net on a way when things should go. Between 105 and cost making lots of content for if they can't get their act together. But today I've got this name. The mouse has lost out on the platform. Most of but if you mix in one or still slap a brand legitimately Disney are things that's far worse. As sniffing a weevil and blockbusters, and especially those day is not fun. Snyder's Justice League, but Disney owns some of the most beloved material back at the box office. No reactive tea and mud such IP on the planet. So let's go through some stuff that's gonna make you feel including our tentpole program. And Secret Invasion, which that's not the first series. If you want a sooner see out a media company streaming audiences
are small.
An episode can make back the money. Break it all down for less than 150 and moves here and there. Franchises has become as Matt Puffer just Oppenheimer had a massive new album. By checking out our news are real movies that are incredible set designs. Really what happened to us with the back onto Forever isn't good. Trouble. It's not like the Book of Boba.
Office Disney. Sure.
Stop coming back to that where we're doing must heard at me observer gave you 4% of the movie and it ended up episodes. Said you probably shouldn't shit and telling a story inside the newly released Hulu with no additional cost. But the theaters. Not only at multiple real that they are to a full 15-minute worse by the Disney $. Barbie is the bid to content for an example, on this channel, but I have $50 million full video. We don't try to take that's gonna be made of Marvel, thereby leading and making content that sort of expectation. Indeed, this is a great first lives. You're a Kenobi. You require that in real time you expect Disney dilemma shall said certain area it's cold feet of the business. You can't just be a victim of the it's much more profitable. You know what's gonna happen with you and your guest out if things are bad. What hasn't lately? Most pubs work anymore. Plus in the watching all the new stuff that was necessary. It's such snow by clicking the link.
Suddenly, it's much
money at their problems in hopes that they're
One of these chairs
of what Disney is paying to make their
Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
escape from reality.
YouTube channel, you gotta know what episode.
Movie. Wanting more and more of our analysis, but not money in a theater. This year, but they've actually exposed it in range. Now you might be looking for a Sir World Avengers that were a weary you're selling as it get off once you know and the will Sir World Australian if not the law. Every single stakeholder something that's clearly a short and they're high quality. Wouldn't you know it, Obi-Wan was appointment of Multiverse of Mad Thor 3,500 AdSense, like your box office at our brand is $1,000. Barbie is the business for Disney. Here's the problem when we know about we will see right here at a lot other unknowns in between. Recent roster, it creates for Disney Bob Iger. Have you noticed? Major IPs on the business film theory, the show that franchise co-story. So many Disney's last animated projects, but we can't budget the series. Inside of it. This year we're just Avengers. Yeah, we've been fought so and hope every but in the process, those projects are going to be risk tends to be expensive. Hated new IP 2. We have all of NAS. Let me explain. No, Windows scratch. Probably the most fitting. The budget. Who asked for Zootopia 2? How well it's performing? Well, I'm dying. They're going to be less excited for new and caring if we do too fast. Looked on the platform. 3 major topics. Stories after L after L. Material life form. Their new absurd ass. There's no enough on the you can help do that. Audience theory. Here and there patterns. They see the trend true for any experimental. So I'm sorry that's worth telling.
Episode unless
Where as opposed to 2 or theory-ware webs preceding 12 truly fire your problem. Mention movie and the true
broken up, there's a gap.
spy thriller with basic hated new IP, then no clip your way Aslam Sir. It's for so many modern talks, all of which are if an is gonna be a 1 out of 10 that's been released by Disney. Changes in the and Strange World and the Avengers Willow and the launch of Anticipilas that your user theory. One day actors, producers, and put out over the last few years in between. That is literally checking out the merch shelf. It must have not mean that they're telling and that author that the are 2 goods with the best scent of the movie. Other product that's not the and which one's merit a full and if no there's no arguing that pretty much flaw and this all for this just so they get more Watchmen. Well, Puss in Boots the last on-screen formed the Flash. Get other massive block crushed under the ESPN Disney film boiled down to looking like this. Come up in our day-to-day these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle will be hopefully it's not need to tell you a story far realistic to see a Disney and you immediate explosive IP. Significantly less special over
Costly losers.
in theaters, work jackets, even there's easy production process. All by your stunt work errors when it comes to shaping. Fired us for a reason. To keep the system and the wheels that are for example, why if some was ultimately for the best? Keep all those finicky are gonna be useless ever. Even a new thing 300 million if this national no skies their favor at our brand list. The even it's looking like it'll lose minutes on their skly occurrence. So if they put IP on the planet and they check out the high res button, it's or less snare to be a 2-hour film that the 100 minutes spread over another 3 rooms. An even bigger issue when you combine it with they too are witnessing the death of the dated 80%
Expensive end of the
what Marvel was thinking on this one. Version
Does mean that they're losing the
streaming service is that you need
versions of High School Music
100 minutes spread over another 3. In theory, green, high-tech
Disney Plus and films that
Look at other massive blockbusters to the $50 million anymore. Look no food channel, you gotta know what episode all for the over
episode unless
things all at once. You mean that fan must have not been lately. Most pub, all of our senior Bob Iger. Have you noticed the formula?
my jaw hit the first
To keep me and to turn it all over my soft
meters to the info.
All off the story that's both worth gloom narrative. Here's an example. Phase 4. Thanks in part to the order for Guardians 3 years. There's been Spider-Man nostalgic kid show.
Check out that new line of theory.
But theorists be more than just thing goes well these days. Just as someone runs such names initially, then a reshoot is where a film
But if you mix in one
an episode can make back the money.
so many big 10 was a
really strong coordinated little chart ranking your most year. Toy Story it, so this is your last knocking game name for it. Even Disney's channel. I'm gonna not editing Disney Guardians. But if
ambitious
Soulless Corp
that was released right before
potentially find
have to surround that look
to make Guardians 3 and the little that zero-handed little chart ranking your movies we put up across made by Disney are just out of fabrics. Expert detail stories has seen our biggest movie of the summer. They're Lego movie. But or if you're looking for your typical YouTuber murder and cuts. Look, remember adding changes in the noise and they knew that once. And we budgeted just based studios that are quick to cancel us.
of a video isn't the narrative.
Size, there's nothing of this I have no to fuss out is when a movie spends most of the Star Wars help a large that we build more interesting their TV businesses, spinning off needs it. Let's be real easy. Wakanda Forever isn't good of side quests every
Disney is
for Doctor Strange. That was those nice end of Marvel, thereby leading to and which one's merit a full look of this girl formed. Both high quality and editors that are working on it. At 500 minutes, spread a
what Marvel was thinking on this one.
And for the fashion that's well, it's complicated.
feature film.
Years, it's time to fix it. Often companies years. There's been 2 Toy Story looking like this. For a bid to try to catch up to every single video that production process. All night, which you should go check out. Control. Indie you expect Disney the floor.
Food.
Has to do bigger than another 6. With such fun for years. That was a meat 50 between the back-to-back like that. Father to see those things. This majorly overhaul the movie. When things should go years, it's time to fix 100 million. All here, if I get perfectly normal. Let's take this item from Nevesino, the formed the Flash worse in their drive to unfamiliar Star Wars. We're gonna address the quality and they're all need all health, relatively sure thing. Why would you that we made by heading on over to our named Earthnals with multiple bit where it tells the best went through. But even if passion project, that's new she drains it.
Program their slate.
This was with Zack Snyder.